What is up, everybody? This is Atticus the Death Metaler, and welcome to the top 30 albums of 2015. Yes, this has been a grueling undertaking for this to happen, and it is finally here. If you all remembered my old stuff, I brought up the top 10 albums of 2013, the top 20 albums of 2014. Unfortunately, that was taken down by the copyright Gestapo, but now, you are now watching part 1 of the top 30 albums of 2015. And here with me is my special guest, even though I was going to keep this a secret for a while, but due to the circumstances, I spilled him out in my Thank You 2015 video. But, Infidel, introduce yourselves here.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Infidel Amsterdam. I'm from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And I'm doing a collab with my good friend Atticus right here. So let's see what happens, huh?
2015 was indeed quite an insane year for my channel as well as your channel and other channels that had to make videos on this crazy shit that happened on this crazy year. But let's just take that all aside and remember all the great metal releases that have came out in 2015. And oh my goodness, there is a lot of great releases that have happened in 2015. Am I right here?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It was crazy. I mean, in my video, it took like 50 albums to review with my own albums that I got and the other YouTubers that came along, you know, 11 other albums. So even albums that I never heard of before, and I was like, holy fucking shit. It was a lot of work this year, and there was a lot of great stuff coming out. So yeah, let's see what 2016 brings, huh?
Atticus the Death Metaler, Infidel Amsterdam, stop bitching about this and get on with the goddamn video already!
Yeah, pretty much.
So, the rules are simple here. First of all, this list is basically from my viewpoints, my thoughts and opinions on this album. If you liked it, that's fine. And if you didn't like it, bring out your top lists on the comment description. And of course, I encourage all of you to actually make videos of your own albums that you thought were great. Also, Infidel Amsterdam is going to be putting in a little bit of his intake on most of the albums, but he's going to be reviewing 3 albums on this list. So, without further ado, let us commence the countdown. Number 30, Oceano, Ascendants. Produced by Nick Nativo and the band themselves, their 4th release has by far been one of the band's best releases since their debut album Depths. In a review on Metal Injection, it is stated that taking steps into previously unexplored territory, Ascendants is a concept album transcending the norms of most modern metal acts, within standout tracks Dead Planet, Transient Gateways, and Dawn of Descent. Eerie atmospherics come to the force. Ascendants is Oceano's most focused effort to date, giving the album a greater intensity and deeper sense of purpose. Rediscovering their niche, Ascendants is the definitive Oceano experience. Oceano has truly experienced an awakening, and with it they hold the key album to redefine their genre. What do you think about Ascendants, Infidel?
I must say it's one of the albums that I enjoy when it comes to deathcore. Actually, it's one of the bands that I enjoy when it comes to deathcore, because, you know, a lot of people know that I'm really not a big fan of deathcore. I might have 1 or 2 albums in my collection, but Oceano is one of those bands that, in my opinion, does what deathcore needs to do. You know, a lot of these deathcore bands get really boring over time. When you're listening to the album and you listen to 2 songs, it's already enough. But for some reason, and I don't know really why, Oceano sticks to a point where you just want to keep listening to it. You know, they don't really break the brutal sound of their music with the breakdowns and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a great album. I've been listening to it. Unfortunately, it's not in my collection yet, but yeah, it's probably gonna end up there. So yeah, it's a great band actually.
My favorite tracks on this album were Transient Gateways, The World Engine, Dead Planet, and The Taken. Number 29, Abiotic, Casuistry. The band's second and, in my opinion, their best studio album, Abiotic, is indeed a force to be reckoned with on Casuistry. It almost sounds like you're listening to the new album by The Faceless when you listen to the entire album by these guys. And Abiotic has been known to have used both technical death metal and deathcore elements very well. Casuistry was produced and mixed and mastered by the band and Jamie King, and the guest musicians were John Gallagher of Dying Fetus and Paul Wagner of Between the Bird and Me. What were your thoughts on Abiotic's new album?
I can't tell you because I haven't listened to that one.
My favorite tracks were Believe the Unseen, Reanimated, Destruction, Cast into the Depths, and Nightmares of Your Conception. Number 28, Aversions Crown, Tyrant. Australia has been known for bringing out some of the best deathcore bands in the world, and one of those bands being Aversions Crown made it to number 28 with their sophomore release, Tyrant. Produced by Andrew Marsh from Die Artist Murder and mixed by Mark Lewis, Aversions Crown without a doubt released an astoundingly ground-trembling release that sounds like a force to be reckoned with. Try putting Whitechapel back into its This Is Exile glory days, with space extraterrestrial themes, and you got yourselves Aversions Crown. In a review done by Sputnik Music, it reads, Tyrant proves to be a breath of fresh air into Australia's deathcore scene. One that may set a standard for underground bands to come. Despite a few flaws, this is an enjoyable and extremely well executed release that was quite some time in the making. Tyrant also features special guest Nick Arthur from the band Molotov Solution. What were your thoughts on Tyrant, Infidel? My favorite tracks were Hollow Planet, The Glass Sentient, Conqueror, Vectors, Avalanche, and Controller. Number 27, Thy Art Is Murder, Holy War.
Die for Christ, die for Allah, die for Jerusalem, die for Torah, Father and Son, marching in rhythm, firing bullets through the skulls of the children. Holy War.
Another Australian deathcore band, and by far the deathcore album of the year, in my opinion, produced, engineered, and mixed by Will Putney, Thy Art Is Murderer has brought forth their most anticipated album of their careers. The album surrounds the theme of religious extremism that is a cancer amongst the world, and are not afraid to go after all groups. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, the Ku Klux Klan, Zionists, Hamas, ISIS, Boko Haram, etc., etc., etc. This album also features special guest Winston McCall of Parkway Drive. So what you thought of Thy Art Is Murder's theme with Holy War there?
I think the theme is great. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with criticizing religion, but it's the band itself is not really my thing. But the theme is absolutely great.
My favorite tracks were Absolute Genocide, Light Bearer, Holy War, Fur and Claw, Deliver Us From Evil, and Naked and Cold. Number 26, Col Chamberlain, Rivals.
I owe you nothing. You get nothing. I owe you. I owe you nothing. You get nothing in return. I owe you.
In all honesty, I would never expect a band like Col Chamberlain to make an absolute badass comeback with their fourth release, Rivals. I was honestly not a huge fan of Col Chamberlain's poor skills of writing lyrics that were horribly repetitive and lacked creativity, but thanks to Des Fafara's growth in Devil Driver and talks with his old bandmates from Col Chamberlain, they decided to make a comeback, the comeback of the year, and created by far the band's greatest album they've ever pulled off. Produced and mixed by Mark Lewis, Col Chamberlain has perfectly shown in Rivals that they're back with a bloody vengeance and are taking no prisoners with them. Des Fafara's lyrics with this album are perfect and flawless, along with the other bandmates, Migs, Mikey, and Nausea, pull off a perfect punch, melody of aggression, and attitude. Rivals also features special guest Al Jorgensen from Ministry. So what did you think about this comeback here?
I didn't even like Col Chamberlain, dude.
That's fine by me, man. But you have to admit, this album was indeed kick-ass, in my opinion. My favorite tracks were I Owe You Nothing, Bad Blood Between Us, Suffer in Silence, The Bridges You Burn, Rivals, and Wait. A great comeback for 2015. Number 25, Fear Factory, Genexus. The band's ninth studio album and one of my new favorites from this band, Genexus was produced by a team effort from Fear Factory, Reese Fulber, and Andy Sneap, and the first to feature their new drummer Mike Heller. On a Metal Injection review, it was given an 8.5 out of 10 for the review. Its theme centers around how later on in the future, quoting Ray Kurzweil, future machines will be human, even if they aren't biological. Any thoughts on Genexus?
I've listened to it online on YouTube. It wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really great either. I'm sticking more to the old Fear Factory albums than this one. This probably won't make it up in my collection.
My favorite tracks were Autonomous Combat System, Soul Hacker, Protomech, Battle for Utopia, and Expiration Date. Number 24, Psycroptic. Psycroptic, self-titled. Produced and mixed by guitarist Joe Haley, Psycroptic's self-titled release is somewhat a lot like its 2012 release, The Inherited Repression. Though I was a tad bit disappointed that the band did not sound like the glory days of Observant and Symbols of Failure, I will say the upside with this album is that Jason Pepiot's vocals are spot on and easy to listen to. There is also moments where in this release where you get a sense of calm and peace of mind before the real shit gets started. Though with its setbacks, it is a pretty good album to listen to. What were your thoughts on Psycroptic's self-titled album?
I've not been listening to this one yet, but I have 2 albums of them. I didn't even know they brought out a new album until you just showed it to me. So I'll be going out and listening to it, but if it's kind of the same as their old work, I'll definitely like it.
My favorite tracks were Echoes to Come, Ending, A Soul Once Lost, Cold, and The World Discarded. Number 23, Battlecross, Rise to Power. Battlecross has always and forever will be one of my favorite metal success stories. These Detroit thrashers are some of the hardest working musicians I've had the honor of meeting. And with the past 2 shows seeing these guys, they will make sure that everyone will have a good fucking time. And this is shown perfectly with their 3rd release, Rise to Power, which in my opinion is probably the best release these guys have ever pulled off. Produced, mixed, and engineered and mastered by Jason Sukoff and Mark Lewis, this is an album that is guaranteed to make you bang your fucking head and battle in the mosh pit like a Viking warrior. This is also a release that features their new drummer Alex Bent, who is known for his old band Archaic, a great technical death metal band I highly recommend. Any chance of listening to Rise to Power, Ed?
I've been listening to Battlecross a few times online because people were sending me links about them, but it's really not my kind of stuff, actually. No, sorry.
All good here. My favorite tracks were Scars, Not Your Slave, Absence, Spoiled, The Climb, Blood and Lies, and Despised. Number 22, Cataclysm, of Ghosts and Gods.
Ignorance of all mankind, breathing the chaos, breathing destruction.
Produced by the band themselves, Cataclysm will forever in my heart be one of my all-time favorite death metal bands. This album was indeed a very unique release for this legendary band. Before the release of this album, the band decided to do a countdown by releasing a concept music video for every song on this album, which indeed was a first for any band out there, especially Cataclysm. Ollie Bedouin really, in my opinion, shines his pure talent with this album than the previous release, Waiting for the End to Come. So, Infidel, what were your thoughts on Of Ghosts and Gods?
I've heard it. It's not in my collection yet, but I'm a big Cataclysm fan. For me, Cataclysm can do a whole lot of things wrong. And it was just the fact that it hasn't been in my collection yet, that it didn't appear in my own video of 2015, but it really, really belongs on the best of 2015.
My favorite tracks were Breathing the Asylum, Black Sheep, Marching Through Graveyards, Thy Serpent's Tongue, Soul Destroyer, Carrying Crosses, and Hate Spirit. And number 21, and number 1 on this video. The number 1 album and number 21 for part 1 here is Lamb of God, Sturm Und Drang. Sturm Und Drang was produced and mixed by Josh Wilbur. German for Storm and Stress, this album is a follow-up from the band's 2012 Resolution, and by far one of their most anticipated and unique releases yet to date. A majority of these songs detail the events that happened to Randy Blythe as he was locked up in Pankratz prison in the Czech Republic due to his manslaughter case. Most of those songs he written were due to his experiences in the prison, as in the first song Still Echoes, when he learned about the prison's history from the guards and inmates. Another song, 512, was named after the cell he was placed in, located in the basement of the prison where it was pitch black. He was placed under there due to signs of depression and was being monitored due to his trials by fire and responsibility for his actions even though acquitted. The experiences have changed Randy, and he used those experiences to make an amazing album. This album also features special guests Chino Moreno of Deftones and Greg Puciato of the Dillinger Escape Plans. So, any thoughts on Sturm Und Drang? What'd you think about it?
Not yet, although I do like Lamb of God. There was just so much this year that came out. I heard that I brought out a new album, but I didn't came around to go and check it out. But I'll definitely do that because it's a great band, although it's not a band that I really follow a whole lot. So I'll just go and check it out.
My favorite songs were Still Echoes, Erase This, 512s, Embers, Footprints, Overload, Anthropoid, and Torches. So this concludes part 1 of the top 30 albums of 2015. So what'd you think about this list? Did you like it, dislike it? Leave down your own list in the description below. All criticism is necessary, but don't be a dick about it. Without further ado, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to Infidel Amsterdam. He is an awesome person. Keep it metal and stay tuned for part 2.